Welcome to CXO. I'm your host, Harry, and we're delighted to have you today in another episode of CXO, where we speak to leaders, business leaders, technology leaders globally who are changing stuff using technology. Today, we are delighted and excited to have Francine Katsoudas, who is the Executive Vice President and a very long title.
Very long.
Which you will explain to me.
Sure.
What does that mean, really?
Okay, so my title is Chief People, Policy, and Purpose Officer. And what the title means is that everything that we do as a company, we start with people. And we think not only about our Cisco employees, but we think about the broader communities and how we have impact. When we think about policy, it's really what are the policies that we can help shape to have a positive impact. And then lastly, I think we all come together around purpose. And for us as a company, our purpose is to power an inclusive future for all. And that's what the entire organization really focuses on.
Future for all.
Future for all, inclusive future.
So how do you do that, Francine?
Okay, so the first place that we start is we take every word of the purpose and we think about, okay, what does it mean? So when we think about the word power, what we think about is how do we address the digital divide, leveraging our power, which is technology. And something that we recognize is that when you don't have access to the digital economy, when you don't have access to the internet, it impacts your ability to get healthcare, education, to participate. And so that's the first thing that we do. The second thing is we look at the word inclusive. And so we look at how do we ensure that we actually have the best practices and policies within the company, and then how do we take those and actually push them outside of the company as well? And so this is where, as an example, the focus that we have on social justice comes to life. And so not only do we focus on our employees, but we're focusing too on our ecosystem. What does our supply chain look like? Is it diverse? How about our partners? Are they participating in some of the education that we have as a company? And then the last piece is that we need to have a planet for all of this to be lasting. And so we focus on the future, which is all about sustainability, and how do we build to a regenerative planet? And that's a combination of our technology, but also the practices that we as a company have as well.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
So there you go.
Yeah. But then, when I look at Cisco, it's a global company with offices all over the world.
That's right.
So how do you make sure that all that flows across the world, and especially in Africa?
Well, I think what you have to be able to do as a company is have this really nice balance of local and global. And so something that we've been commenting on this week is that when we're here in Kenya, it makes us so much wiser around the needs in this country. And I think it's really important for us to listen to our people, to understand the dynamics, to see the opportunity. And then you bring the power of the global company to the local entity. And so that's how we think about it. We do feel like our global footprint makes us a lot stronger. I think it makes us a lot more diverse and a lot more thoughtful in everything we do.
Awesome. Tell me, what is the role of technology and how does technology play in promoting corporate responsibility and sustainability?
The role of technology is big. So again, there is an element of how technology can put everyone on an equal footing. I think that's incredibly important. But I think the other thing, and I saw this in my conversations with the ICT authority this week, is that through technology, we can provide services to citizens. And that too provides them with equal opportunity and access to things that perhaps in the past they didn't have access to. And so we work really hard to leverage technology to create that inclusion. Something that Cisco does, as you probably know, is that we have a big collaboration business. And so we sell the collaboration technology in the video that allows us to connect with our people around the globe. That's another beautiful example of how a global company can feel connected to one another. And I think there's so many use cases for technology. We're just starting.
Okay. So you mentioned the ICT authority.
Yes.
So how does Cisco work with governments and other stakeholders to help them with their digital transformation journeys?
So the way that we do this, we have an organization at Cisco called Country Digital Acceleration. And today we work in about 44 countries. And what we do is with those countries, we work on a digital agenda. And so typically what we would do with the ICT authority or other government agencies is first focus on what problems are they trying to solve. And a lot of times what we'll hear is they're trying to address job creation, or they're trying to address access, maybe skills. Digital skills is a big area of focus for us. And then we work with them to put a program together that really serves the country, the locality, and leverages the technology and the capability that we bring to bear.
So in terms of the skills, especially skills, because I know the Kenyan government right now is very big on skills, and
Yes.
because of the plans that they have. So what do you feel like, what is the future of work, and how can people skill for the future of work?
I think you're right in bringing the future of work and skills together.
Yeah.
I think that's the right starting point. So I'll share a little bit about what we do, and then I think the huge opportunity that we have as it relates to the future of work. So for 25 years, Cisco has been training students around the world around digital skills. And in the 25 years, we've trained 17 million students. And we do that free of charge. It's our way of playing a role in how to really support the communities. And what I would say to you is in the last 5 to 7 years, my goodness, we see that technology is moving so fast that you have to have these efforts to keep everyone relevant and able to participate significantly. In Kenya, we're currently training about 30,000 learners today, which we're really excited about. We actually think it can be more. And one of the commitments that we've made is to train 3 million learners across Africa over the next 10 years. Okay. And that's something we're committed to. I hope we beat that number as well. But when we think about the future of work, we think about the skills that are required. We think about inclusive policy that allows everyone to participate. And we think about things like pay parity, ensure that people are paid fairly. And then we think about really the technology that creates a connection for our people, not only to one another, but again, to the locality and to the society that they're closest to.
Okay. So you speak to a lot of governments, a lot of private sector, I'm sure.
Yes.
Across the world, probably across Africa. What do you think is the impact of digital transformation in government and also in business?
So I think it's significant, and I do think it's a really nice opportunity for a public-private partnership. I actually think that the biggest issues in the world have to be solved through this type of collaboration where we can work together. But the conversations that we're having are about things like how do we ensure that most people, that all people can contribute, that all people are on the internet, they have broadband, that they're able to attend classes if they want to online, so that they can really move forward on their education, they can get the health care that they need. Something else that we talk about with government is really the power of automation as well. One of the biggest projects that we had from a digital perspective was really helping to automate the Port of Rotterdam. And what you see is there's so many use cases where technology can be powerful. Another one of my favorites is really around the justice system. So how do you leverage technology to ensure that people can get through the justice process a bit faster and that they're not waiting 2 or 3 years for their cases to be heard?
I remember the Cisco telepresence.
Yes.
In the judiciary.
Absolutely. And so when you have that, you have judges able to take on more cases. And hopefully you reduce the amount of time that people are waiting. And we have some really powerful stories around how we're doing that around the world.
I know you're very passionate about girls in STEM.
Yes.
How do you think we can encourage more women to be in this space? Because it's we know that it's male dominated and all. But what can we do?
So, there's a lot of things, and it's interesting because some of them are so simple. I am very passionate about women and girls having a career in technology because I think it's an amazing career path. And there are so many different paths and options and strong pay and benefits. And so I think that's really important. The first thing we can do is really highlight role models. We've done a lot of research around the world, and what we know is that there's nothing more powerful for you if you're working at a company to look at the senior level of the company and see people that look like you. And that's both a race, ethnicity, gender, age, experience. Like, that is so very important. And so I think we need to continue to spotlight role models. I think the second thing we need to do is education. And something that we think a lot about is we have to get to girls earlier and earlier. There's a lot of research that shows that somewhere between the ages of 10 and 12, girls start to really second guess their mathematic or science skills. And we need to reinforce and break some of those stereotypes so that they can really push into a career in technology as well. And then the last thing I would say is, as companies, we need to have programs that really grow and develop women. And a big part of that is, how do we set up mentors and sponsors to really guide them in their journey?
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So we speak to a lot of CIOs and CEOs who are interested in digital transformation.
Yes.
What are the 3 things that these guys need to think about when they start those journeys?
I think you want to think about first the outcome that you're driving towards. Many of the CIOs that I talk to are really trying to drive a different experience for their employees. And there's a really nice handhold right now between the CIO and like the chief people officer. And they're coming together around the experience that really connects people. In a market right now where talent can sometimes feel scarce, you need to have a really good experience to attract and keep the best. And so I would say, from a CIO perspective, that's the first thing. The second thing that I see is a lot of focus on cost. And what we know is that leveraging technology, we can automate a lot of the processes that once upon a time we had people working on. And when you do that, what you do is you actually start to push your talent up to more sophisticated work as well, which I think is really powerful. The last thing that I would say from a CIO perspective is that the power of data and analytics at this moment is everything. And I think it helps companies make wiser decisions. And so CIOs, I think around the globe, are looking at how can we get the data and the insights with the appropriate level of protection and privacy to make wise decisions.
Okay. So what is coming up in Cisco?
A ton. And so from a Cisco perspective, something that we are incredibly focused on is security and cybersecurity. As we talk to governments around the globe and as we talk to customers, they're really worried about security. And because so much of the world's internet traffic runs on Cisco product, over 85%, we have tremendous visibility and capability to really block some of those cyber attacks and help companies think about the right architecture and technology to really meet their needs. And so you're going to continue to see a ton from us there. On the collaboration side, you'll see us continue to lean into the intersection between collaboration technology and inclusion. That's something that I think is powerful. You can get on a video chat with so many different technologies, but technology that ensures that every person is seen and heard and that you have the analytics on those meetings is truly differentiated. And so you'll see us focus there as well. And then the last thing I would say is that you'll see us focus on our commitment to digital skills, both for our people and for the world.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I'll always ask my guests to tell me one thing that nobody in Cisco knows about you.
That's kind of hard because I've been at Cisco for a really long time.
One thing.
One thing. I would say maybe the one thing that people don't know is that I think there's a beautiful intersection between technology and art. And I'm someone who loves art. I love drawing. I love painting. I'm not that good, but I love it. But I think there's something powerful. And so many times we talk about STEM. I think we just talk about STEAM, and in doing so, I think we bring a lot more people in as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Francine.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harry. I
It's
really
been
appreciate
nice
it.
talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
There you have it. Francine loves art. And that's it from CXO. Thank you. See you next time.